and talking with and getting a better understanding of how we should move forward to get our voices heard on House Bill 327, Representative Jeanette Oxford and Representative Jamil Nasheed talked with Alderwoman April Ford Griffin and myself, and we concluded that it would be nice to have something other than print for people to make their decisions on.
I think anytime we vote on a bill, it's incumbent on us to talk to the people personally affected by that bill. And in this case, we're talking about Alderwoman April Ford Griffin and Alderwoman Marlene Davis. Most of these properties are in their wards, the 5th and 19th Ward. We're talking about the neighbors of those properties. We're talking about people who've already been doing good development in the 5th and the 19th Ward.
Well, I really want people to have a better understanding of what exactly is going on in the proposed project area. It is not an abandoned, dilapidated community that has had no perspective with development or anything else. It is a very organized community with a lot of input from residents and elected officials. Both communities, the 5th and the 19th Ward, have neighborhood development plans that were created with the community involved.
House Speaker Jeanette said during the hearing on 991, the hearing that was hastily called near the end of legislative session, that some parts of North St. Louis are fit only to do urban warfare training in. And Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder said there had been a plan once before sponsored by the Danforth Foundation, I guess, around something that might be done around, what was it, a community land trust or something like that, but that there had been some opposition to it from people that were afraid it would lead to gentrification. And he said, well, we all know that this area needs some gentrification. So that, you know, that's the kind of language that's used about this area is urban warfare training and a need for gentrification. And yet what I find when I visit there is that there are a lot of good folks who are already doing development that have spent significant funds to improve buildings, to be sensitive to historic preservation, to be sensitive to the neighbors around them. I see people pitching in together to do remarkable things.
And do you oppose House Bill 327 now as it is, and will you continue to oppose it, or would you like just to see it amended or changed?
I would love to see it amended. I think that it would be best for the city of St. Louis if it was amended. I think we should have the opportunity for more than one developer to have a chance at doing some work in the city. I think that if we made available, say, 25 acres or so to one individual, that's enough. I don't think any developer should have the opportunity to have eminent domain. That should only come from the alderpersons here in the city of St. Louis who were elected by their constituents to make those decisions for them.
I'm working on amendments for the bill. I don't know if I would be allowed to offer them because the reality is, with me being in the minority party, usually the majority party has a script for who they're going to allow to stand, and I can go to the microphone and you usually wave a piece of paper over your head to say, here I am, you know, to try to get called on. But sometimes you don't get called on. So someone will try to offer some amendments. I'm sure. I'm hoping that might happen even in the hearing process on the bill.
What kind of changes would you like to see made to the bill?
Well, instead of 75 to 100 acres, I'd like to see it be a smaller amount of acreage. I'd like to see historic preservation safeguards. I'd like to see a requirement that there be an interface with the community and with elected leaders and neighborhood associations around their current redevelopment plans, so that this is done in conversation with the folks who are already doing a lot of good work there, instead of being imposed on a group that has acted in good faith with the community so far.
And what's your take on McKee and those developments in your ward? Or?
Well, the company itself, I'm not going to talk about the individual because I don't know him, but the company, I know that they've done some good things in different parts of this region. I know they've done things in other parts of the country. I believe that they probably will do a good job in whatever they choose to do, but I think that choice can only be made by the people who live in this area, and most especially it should be signed off on by the elected officials.